that our next guest is a freaking Instagram rock star as well. This lady, I got a chance to meet her. I'm going to bring her back live here. I unmuted her, and I'm going to ask her to start her video up. Hopefully she's right there and didn't run off there.
I am.
There she is. Hey! Good morning, sunshine. Good afternoon.
Hi.
It's morning.
Get rid of that pillow. Just a pillow.
How are you doing?
A nice, clean background.
Yeah, well, Mom's not in the background hearing you talk?
No, my mom's not here today. She was a huge hit on that show.
Oh, totally was. She was.
Yeah.
So one of the great things, I met Stefanie originally at Podfest Expo. She was running around just absolutely doing this amazing job with their social media accounts. You were getting every speaker. You were taking photos of the crowd. I mean, literally, you were the hardest working person at that.
Yeah, not only was I a speaker, I was actually their live social media person for all 3 days. Yeah. It was crazy. I was in my running shoes the whole time.
I've done that, so
yeah.
Like, I know.
So fun though.
It is. It's a lot of fun, but you're like, why did I should have.
She was crawling under tripods to get the right
angle. You saw that, yeah. But also, I will say, I am only 5'2". It's not a far down. It's quite easy to get that low when you're my size. So.
Well, hey, Stefanie, for those that don't know who you are, why don't you take a second to tell them who you are and how awesome you are?
Oh, well, thank you so much, Scott, and thank you so much for the invitation. I was really honored to be a part of this. I love what Haley just said about the fact that social media is, something that can be taken serious and really does move your business and the world forward. Because, 5 years ago, we couldn't even have predicted where we're at now. Right. I just heard somebody on the news saying, just in general, they were talking about Bitcoin. Everybody wants to make a statement about what Bitcoin is, what it's doing. And they said, look, when the internet really opened up in 1995, we could not have predicted Uber, right? Yeah. So you really, and even with social media, we can't predict almost like from 6 months to 6 months what it's going to be, and it really has become this way that you not only connect, but it becomes this powerful place too. So myself, my name is Stefanie LaHart from BoomTown Marketing. We are a boutique social media marketing service that helps businesses, entrepreneurs, and coaches and people in the creative passion space, as I like to call it, really be able to move their business forward through utilizing social media to get their message out there. Again, social media as a platform to, spread your business message and really, get people to know who you are behind the scenes. As Haley was just saying, sometimes it is good to let them know how you make the sauce, and one of the things that I always deal with my clients, which I'll get into, is like, where is that line? How much do we show? How much don't we? So myself, I have a very long history in the digital space in general. I started building websites in 1995. I'll let you all figure out my age because it's hard to guess.
We're smart and won't ask.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because back then too, the space that I was in, it was all guys, and I started calling myself the Cyber Hag, and that became my business name for many years. I was Cyber Hag Productions, and people would meet me and they're like, "Why are you calling yourself a hag? You're not ugly." I'm like, I'm calling myself a hag because I'm the only female in this chat room. And that's how it was back in the day. And the way my career has progressed in my business was just, we fulfilled this whole need for websites for as long as it was needed. And then in the last 10 years, with all the self-service that has happened, with the point and click, do it yourself, Wix and Shopify and all this stuff, you know what? It really has become much easier for you to launch your business. The question now is, how are you going to get people to find your business still? So that's when really we pivoted about 6 years ago and became digital marketing focused because that's really what our clients needed at that point. So, that's what we do, and that's what I do, and I love it. I love the space that I'm in. I was actually just telling a neighbor of mine, I'm like, yeah, I work in social media, and she's like, that's like your full-time job? I'm like, yeah, isn't it cool?
The best.
And it's crazy though too, because my own personal page and kind of footprint is like really kind of small because I just don't even have time to like really be on my personal Facebook. And I have friends that just post all the time. They're like, you never post anything. I'm like, I am busy doing paid work on social. So that's where that is. But anyway, so just going back to what we had said about social really being a way to move your business forward. Instagram, all right, I'm going to preface this with saying, if you're not watching this live and you watch this in a replay, maybe a week later, Instagram might be a totally different animal because they can't roll out changes fast enough.
Right.
Like, I seriously, before I got online, I did a quick Google search just to make sure I wasn't missing something. That the morning when I was out running, they suddenly, like, I don't know, made like, you know, make your own GIF filter in there or something. I don't know, because it changes so much, you know, and they're packing everything in. They're getting a little overwhelming with that, but I am here to alleviate that overwhelm, because what I like to do with my businesses and what I'd like to tell you now is you don't have to jump on everything that these tools are throwing at you. You know, what you really do is see the stuff that you're going to utilize that's going to help to elevate your brand, your message, your product, your service, and don't feel so pressured to, I've got to do stickers, or I've got to do this, or I've got to do whatever. You know, start small and then you can build on that. Because, I mean, one of the biggest things, we all know this, it just happened on Instagram in the last week, is IGTV. IGTV is now basically, it's their answer to YouTube. So it's not built out yet, but I had quite a few clients come to me and say, oh my God, we need to jump on this now, because people have that fear of missing out, you know, the FOMO of, if I'm not in there first and I don't make my spot, then I'm going to just get glazed over. And one of the things of Instagram and actually YouTube in general that you'll find is you didn't miss the boat. You didn't. There's always room for you to keep building, because things morph. And remember, people age out. So what you're thinking was super popular when you were, I don't know, in your teens, and you're like, well, this person already did that, so I can't really do it. Guess what? Those people are 10 years older too, and they might be doing something else. So maybe you can fulfill that spot, or in your own way. And, you know, I'm going to say that with IGTV too. It's great that they're doing that. They're still figuring out what it's going to mean. It is going to mean that you can do an hour-long video. Awesome. They're going to add, you know, the live feature to it. But again, if you're using it from a business standpoint, let's take a step back and really think, what are we going to do within our business that's going to help our business grow by utilizing that? You know, it's not just about, I just need to throw together a video. Let's think about really, you know, are we going to show them how we do something? Are we going to give them tips and tricks? I always love to use salons and pizza joints as my example, because visually it's so easy for you to understand that. So if you have like a pizza place or a physical, you know, establishment, it is really easy to say, I'm going to do a video maybe about Customer Appreciation Day. In fact, I have a client in Montana that has a barbecue place, and that's one of the things we're going to be working on with Instagram TV, is to show this whole like customer appreciation. Because I mean, how happy are you when you're eating barbecue or something like that? Like pretty freaking happy, right? Makes other people want to get involved too. So like, let's look at it like that. It doesn't have to be overproduced. It doesn't have to be a quote unquote show. It just has to be something that's going to work within your business, right? Am I making sense with that?
Amen. Preach on.
Yeah. And Scott, I have to say, you're like really the master. I've seen what you're doing on social. You're so good at like hitting social where you should for your business, you know, because if people knew, I mean, did you tell them like what your like day job is?
We talked a little bit about it.
Okay.
I think there's a pretty good following on here of my note tribe and real estate followers on here. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but if you tell somebody kind of just like what that is, kind of just like the overview, the people would be like, well, how would you utilize that on social? Well, Scott got that figured out. So I love that. And you really can use it for any business. So things like IGTV are going to be there. You're not going to miss out. Don't feel like you have to jump on it now, but watch what's going on. Watch what other people are doing. Get ideas. And then really when you're ready within your business, when you have the support or you have the management to do it, then you can start building that out, because you've never missed the boat on social ever. I am promising you right now, just because you weren't on one of these tools when they first started doesn't mean that you've missed out on something. They are changing. And I do make sure that my clients are changing with the times too, because the way that we used Instagram in the beginning, it's not how we're using it now. It started really like kind of as an art project. Now it really has to be a storyteller. You know, it has to tell the story of your brand or your service and things like that. And it has to be more than I'm simply going to just show my product. And I still see a lot of this where there's just like this whiteboard and a product. Nobody gives a shit about your product. Excuse my French. I just did a show on Facebook Live the other day, if you caught it, I was calling Getting the Social Feels, which really is about show me what is going to change in my life or my, brain or just my experience or my emotions by interacting with you or using your product or your service, something like that. And Instagram is so important for that. You have to draw people in and really get them to experience it but not just showing a product, like show them the lifestyle they're going to lead or the change they're going to have or the feeling they're going to have. And Instagram's the perfect platform for that, right? Because it's all visual. And here's the thing. I know that, they keep saying all this stuff about the algorithms, people that interact and all this, which is very true. But really, you still have those few seconds where it has to be eye-catching enough that somebody's going to stop and do something. And, the thing is that's great about things like Instagram, you can quickly scroll through, and a lot of people do that. So it's easy. It's easy to build up a following on there, more so than anything else, because you don't have to have a lot of investment to start getting people in that kind of loop in the beginning, right? And you've probably found that with your own business. So going through their algorithm real quickly, there was a lot of stink about in the last 2 weeks. Oh, they've changed their algorithm and all this. All right, let's take a step back. All they did was make it in line with Facebook's algorithm. Same shit, different day. We want people to engage. We want, we're going to, if they engage and then their friends share it, then we're going to show it to more people. There really was nothing that big of a change. I mean, it was really just what Facebook was doing anyway, and Facebook owns Instagram, so there you go. I heard a lot of people, oh my God, what changed with the algorithm? I'm like, nothing. It's just exactly like Facebook now. They just kind of like made this big statement, I think, just to get in the news. And the whole regency of the post, what's, posted more frequently or like timely kind of stuff, like more recently, of course, you want to be able to see that so you can interact with it. So, it's just one of those things, you kind of roll with it, make sure that you're actually still always in line with your brand or your service, and especially with something like Instagram, because you do have that square. Your 9 squares that I'm going to see on my app, they're the most important at all time. Make sure that's always telling a story. And let me tell you, just back a couple of years ago, do you remember this, when it was really big to take a big gigantic image and then cut it up within blocks? Okay, when they were like doing like that, and it was almost like
so idiotic.
You didn't know? Oh, no. I'm going to say I love that. I love that because you get to tell a story, but you have to be really strategic in the imagery that you're using. So you're not ending up with a block that just looks like this. And people are like, that's just a green block. I don't get it. You have to be more strategic with the imagery, so there's something of interest even in that block that's still going to draw you in. But I do love it when you're able to tell the story within the whole frame when they go to your feed. And because I can show you actual examples of people that are just really doing that well. And it gives you more space, because I know we still have the ability in Instagram to write the whole caption area, the copy area. People aren't reading that. They really aren't. They're going through the photos. If your photos can't tell the story, they're not going to get to the other part. In fact, that's another thing. A couple years ago, people have these whole training seminars about how to write this long form copy. I have news for you. Nobody's reading it. They really aren't. They aren't. And that's why finally Instagram got on board with my next thing. We have more shoppable links now. More images can just be direct shoppable. They're not going into your profile. They're not going into your actual caption. More and more, they're rolling it out. Of course, they always start it with the big brands where you can actually click on an image and you can shop from it. Thank God. Do you remember back in the day when Pinterest wasn't shoppable? Like there was no link and you would see some awesome do-it-yourself project and you had no idea where it came from. Yeah.
Yep.
It's frustrating because you're just like, you get excited, and we all like are truly creative beings. We all want to create, and to sit there and be like, well, I don't know how to make that planner and you suck and I'm not going to go back to you. So I'm really happy that Instagram is really, really rolling that out to more people now. It's not so, kind of like, what do you call it? The VIP club. I've seen it. It is something that they do have to roll out to your specific profile. Don't send me hate mail after this and say, I don't have it. I'm trust in like the next 6 months, everybody's going to have this stuff because it makes sense. If they want interaction, you better let me click on something and buy it. because, you know, that's what they're looking for. I at least click on it and go to more information about that. So if I'm a coach or, you know, somebody in that digital space and I'm like, I have a training for something, I need to be able to just click on that and go. If I have to keep going back to my profile and all that Linktree stuff, you lost me. I'm not going to do that. Nobody's going to do that. You know, I'm not the only lazy one. Stop laughing. It's true.
No.
I mean,
I'm
there's
agreeing.
just too much going on.
Me and him had this conversation just earlier, so
Yeah.
I'm glad you're kind of backing it all up.
Thank you. Yeah, just let me click and move on. And you know, just the great thing about the Instagram space is the visual aspect of it. And you can so quickly connect with people on that. And again, going back to being a business and telling your story and then allowing people to, you know, see themselves in that or see themselves using that brand. You know, it's great. I hate using the word transparency because I think it's so overused, but it does really allow a certain level of transparency. So you can, like for me as a business owner, I have a variety of different Instagram accounts. I have my BoomTown Marketing one, which is the forward facing. It's very just kind of colorful, graphic kind of thing. But then I also have me as Stefanie LaHart, the entrepreneur, my own personal one that I started building out more so they can see me at the conferences, crawling around the floor, taking pictures and all of that kind of stuff, because, you know, that is interesting. And I know for me, I'm a big part of my sales process. You know, when people meet me, they're more interested in my whole, you know, my whole business, because digital marketing is a dime a dozen. And it really comes down to, well, do I trust this person? Do I like this person? Do I want to work with this person? So myself, I've started using Instagram a lot more on a personal level, just for that aspect as well. So with all of these different changes, yes, I will be on Instagram TV. I've never shy away from a camera and a microphone. I'm not that person, and I have to thank my family for that. We're all like that. I have two sisters, and if you can imagine me like tripled, that's what it's like in my family. So there's a lot of me. Look at me. So, you know, just being able to use that. Let me see what else I had on here. Hold on. I have notes so I don't forget everything. Oh, the ad mentioned sharing for stories. Okay. This is something now that was so needed, because user-generated stories, we've been hearing for years, get your customers to be involved. User-generated means get them, take a picture with the guitar you just bought from us and we'll repost it. Well, people love that, but they also like to get credit. Now within the stories, as you know, you can actually @ people. So you can take aspects of things people have posted now that everything's open. Instagram's just a big playground now. So now you can actually take content from a variety of different places, put it in your story, and then put that @ symbol, that mention, and give that person credit. So if I were to sit here now and take a picture of my screen, which I will do, I'm going to put you guys in my story. And then I'm going to @ both of you and give you That's what you do. Because instead of just being like, I was on, social media day and everything, it's now like, and these were the people that I was talking to, and these are the people that organized it and everything. It's just an easier way of building your network. So that @ is really powerful in the stories. I highly recommend that if there's going to be one thing you take away from today, take the time to learn how to use that and use it within your stories. Because again, Instagram's set up just like Facebook. And if you're using their new tools and their live tools, they're going to bump you up in that news feed. You know, we all know that. If they roll out a new feature, if tomorrow Instagram says we've created a new filter where it's I don't know, a cat filter that puts, like cats dancing around your head, and that's all they keep talking about, use that filter, because they're going to make sure that you're showing up in that discovery window. You know, they want to promote what they've done new. So that would be the one thing I would say. If there's something like that, that's easy, just jump on that. But that @ mention in the stories is really, really going to help a lot of people. So instead of just being like, I was hanging out with so-and-so, the fact that now you can see the image and I can say, I was hanging out with Roberto Blake this weekend, and you can click on that and go right and see what he's doing. That's great. You know, that's another thing. Just like, it's almost like, I'll take this. It's like shopping for people. It is. It's shopping for people. So let's use that. That's my big bag. I'm just going to drop the mic there. Okay, because then the next thing was, my point number 4 then was, of course, these shoppable tags that are popping up slowly but surely, and they will be rolled out more and more. So if you have a physical product that you do want people to be able to shop, or even a digital product, wait, I take that back, a digital product too, it's going to be great that you'll be able to click right over to that. You can't expect people to go back to that profile and find links. You know, there was a service that popped up that did that link tree thing in your profile. That doesn't work. You're not getting any traffic off that. Nobody's going back there and figuring that out. So the more that we can just, again, click on the photo, the better we're going to be. So, you know, that kind of in a nutshell is what's going on with our Instagram field. And I apologize for the people that are watching this next week, because I'm sure everything I just said is totally moot.
I love that whole shoppable thing, because it's going to revolutionize quite a few places. You know,
Yes.
So let us know in the podcasting. I have a social, I got an Instagram account for my podcast. Hey, go back to profile, click on the link to go to the episode. You know,
Absolutely.
or go to the main page. Now it's a whole lot easier. It's 1 click or 2 clicks less.
Yeah.
It's right there, and it's the power of the ego bait aspect of things now really comes to handy. And if you're using ats as well with that, plus clickable links, that's a huge thing.
Yeah, you're right. The podcasters are absolutely going to love it, because it is true. It's like if you have to go and search for that, because still a lot of people don't know how to find podcasts. Believe it or not, a lot of people still don't know how to access YouTube. And I'm not talking about like people my mom and dad's age, like just normal people are just like, how do you get to YouTube? Do you have to like, is it like a pay service? And because like we're in the space, so we think like everybody knows this stuff. If you're like, no, you just have to go to YouTube and this, you've lost them. I can click and then it automatically starts. Like you're going to get a lot more leverage out of that. So the people who are doing video and podcasting, they're going to see a lot better response. I can quickly go to that episode. I can see what you're talking about. I can interact with the show. It's going to be great. So yeah, we were shopping for people and services. Woo!
Boom. Mine already spinning here.
Boom.
Caroline says, great mic drop.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. In fact, I hope I'm not too loud for your audience. I tend to be loud in general. I don't even use a microphone half the time. I'm just like, I can project. You know what it was? I was in forensics when I was in high school, which is in public speaking. And I learned like how to like just to work a room like that. So I'll just say, shout out to my high school, Nazareth Academy in Philadelphia, for giving me the confidence for public speaking. Great school in high school.
Well in LA now, doesn't it?
What's that?
It works well in Los Angeles now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, now I live in Los Angeles, so
That's
which
awesome.
I'm quite glad. We have beautiful weather. I would turn my camera to show you. So, do we have any questions coming in on your side? Do people have specific Instagram questions that I can answer? Because I also want to just give an offer to anyone that's watching this after the show. If you do have questions, if you have never really thought about how to utilize your Instagram for business, I'm going to give everyone who's watching this 15 minutes free on the phone with me. Listen, I love to talk, but I swear to God, if you call me, I'm going to shut up for 15 minutes and I'm just going to answer your questions. So, you know, because it is, like I said, it changes all the time. And sometimes it really is easy to see what another business is doing and find it hard to conceptualize how to change it for you. And to be like, well, I see what these beauty bloggers are doing and these people, but how do I use it for me? Like, I just have like a dry cleaning business, you know? So it really helps to have those outside eyes to be like, well, this would be a great process for you. Oh, you use all natural ingredients. You use a natural process, you know, something like that. You can focus on fabrics. You can focus on the environment. There's so many different things, even in dry cleaning. That you
double coupon days, you know, competitor coupon days. Click on that, bring it in.
Yeah, for sure. So, you know, you just never know. So if you guys want to take advantage of that, they should be, I don't know if you can do my end screen, but I'm pretty easy to find.
One thing we're also doing as well, for those that are watching this afterwards or, you know, during the time, or even when we roll this out as a podcast as well later on too, because we're doing our own series here for National Social Media Day. If you'll text the word SM Day to Stefanie 2000, it'll, you know, ask for your first name and email. We'll be glad to forward those over to Stefanie, and also all our speakers will also forward all the presentation stuff to everybody that's registered for that. So you're not getting cut and paste. You're getting everything at once, which is a really cool thing.
Yeah, no, I love that. So they don't have to kind of be scrambling around. So Yeah, for sure. You know, because again, the social media space is like something that, yes, we use on a personal level to connect with our friends and family, but it is also a way just globally that has brought us together, you know, in a way that really back in the day, only a pen pal across the sea could have done. I was a big one in grade school with the pen pals. There was a show on in the daytime. I think it was called The Big Blue Marble. And they would always have this pen pal program at the end that you could like sign up for. I had a pen pal from that program for 15 years.
Wow.
He was a metalhead in England. And, and he would give me all the updates about like the monsters of rock and all those big like crazy metalhead like things that were, I was a rock and roller. I'm not even gonna lie. I moved out to LA because I was obsessed with like heavy metal bands. And so, like, I think it was his fault because he just fed like heavy metal to me like since I was in grade school. But now you have
headbangers ball Matt Pinfield kind of girl.
What's that?
You're a headbangers ball Matt Pinfield kind of girl.
Yes, I was.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Going to Whiskey A Go Go, having some fun out there.
Truth. And I might have named my hamster Axl Rose. I'm just Axl Rose drove across the country with me. He made it 3,000 miles. And then a week later, he was done and he got interned, aka buried in the Hollywood Hills. And when I tell people I buried Axl in the Hollywood Hills, they're like, I didn't know he was dead. I'm like, no, the hamster was.
I got this story about a hamster in a rock and roll show, but we'll save that for another day.
No, but let's just go back into the Instagram space really quickly because there was one thing that I forgot. Within Instagram, a lot of people aren't aware of the discovery window. I know you guys know about it, but if you're on your app and you click that little home, like it looks like a little like Monopoly house, that takes you to where we call a discovery window, okay? The information, the posts that you see in there are unique to you, okay? So that is one of the things that I would hear from clients. Why am I seeing this and then other people aren't seeing this? And it's like, that is unique to you. So it depends on what your interaction has been, what your preferences have been, like what you've looked at, what you've liked, what you've commented on. Instagram starts building that discovery feed specifically to you, okay? Which makes it even more important that when you're doing your Instagram posts and stories for your business, that you are thinking, again, what can I put in there that is going to be discovery worthy? So if Instagram decides one of your posts has gotten enough momentum or is interesting enough maybe to these other people and they drop you into that discovery window, think about it. That window is like 25 other things going on. You've got to be really good to get clicked, okay? A lot of people immediately go to clickbait. I'm going to tell you right now, that's not really going to work because sometimes if your photo is too weird, scary, or just like they really can't figure out what's going on, they're not going to click it. Yeah. You know, don't feel like you have to go weird to get discovered because that can be a huge deterrent. It's, again, keeping it like with where I'm sitting. Keep it clean. Let me see exactly what's happening in there, you know, or make sure the colors are correct or pop or something that's going to draw my eye in. You know, we're very visual and graphic artists just back in the day. If you can give me some color blocking, that's going to work. And again, the more people that are interacting with you, the more likely you're going to show up in that discovery window. But I hope that makes sense. Your discovery panel is specific to what you've done. So don't feel like, oh my God, my stuff isn't showing up. Instagram's broke. Instagram's not broke. They're just trying to, you know, give you stuff that they think that you'll think is interesting. If you saw mine, you would laugh. It's all dog videos. It's like, that's all I look at is like things about dogs. So my discovery window is just nothing but dogs. I'm dog obsessed. I moved on from hamsters.
What advice would you have for those that are wanting to do the featured stories on their profiles?
On the Instagram profiles, the feature stories?
Circles for featured stories.
Yeah.
A lot of them almost using them like categories and making
I love that.
For them, like
yeah, that would be definitely where I go. It's an area for you to tell a specific story. So again, if you're doing something like, you know, something about like the color yellow for whatever reason, you could put that all in there. And it's just as you said, it's a perfect way to make it a category, AKA I like to call it the only way that Instagram will give you a filing cabinet.
yes.
I'm waiting for Instagram to give us the feature as users to be able to save lists and things like that. I'm shocked they haven't done it yet. They have the collections, what kind of gives you a little, you know, a little bit. Once they roll that out, it will be, you know, I feel a lot more user-friendly. But definitely within those features, tell a story in that feature and think about it. And also, I'm really a big proponent of don't be afraid to delete stuff. If you had something that was only specific for a certain time, you can get rid of that. Don't feel like you have to like keep everything. I'm not saying like delete your whole Instagram feed. In fact, I just had a client who has done this rebranding. They used to have this business and they kind of changed more into the coaching sphere. They're like, should I delete everything I've done? And I said, no, and here's why. They already have a legit 10,000 follower number, okay, which is really good that they've built up organically. If they were to go back and delete stuff that was in their feed, say they had like 200 posts, okay, and they're like, well, 190 of them had to do with my other business, so I'm going to delete all those. Well, now you have 10 posts and 10,000 followers, and that screams spam. No one's going to take you seriously. So don't be afraid. If you do have stuff that had to do with a different part of your business and you have moved on, you can keep that. You don't have to totally purge. But within the feature section, I would say, you know, feel free to clean that up because it is more of a category filing cabinet. So does that make sense? Yeah.
Totally makes sense. You'd probably recommend keep posting the new stuff and delete some of the older stuff off at a little bit at a time.
At a little bit of a time. Do not purge because your numbers are out of whack then. And especially if you're in the influencer space, no one will take you seriously because that's too spammy. Nobody has 10,000 followers from 10 posts. You're not, well, I take that back. Celebrities are different. They're not real people, so do not yourself with them. They're not real people. They don't have your problems. They never run out of toilet paper. So just forget about them.
Exactly. We got a question here. Is there a way to retrain the Instagram discovery feature?
To retrain it, what do you mean? Like your own? Yes, start interacting with new content. Like if you want to see, it's just all that does, it's pulling information about information you've given them. So if you want to see new stuff in the discovery, then you have to start interacting. Like for me, I'm always looking at what other social media companies are doing. So when I want to do like kind of like a little recon, I make sure I interact with a bunch and the feed really updates quickly, like within 24 hours. So you're not going to be sitting there for like a week of just dog videos and be like, when am I going to see this other stuff? But it's all about your interaction, what you've done. You have to feed the machine. It's exactly like a computer. Computers do nothing unless you program it to do something.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly.
Even the AI ones that are about to like take over the world, they had to be programmed to do that first. I mean, yeah, there's machine learning, but there's still human interaction. Oh, thank God. They still need us. We're not obsolete. We haven't terminated ourselves out yet. I, for one, welcome our computer overlords. I'll let you find that reference.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
So this has been so awesome. Thank you so much. If you guys want to connect with me, I'm really easy to find. My name is Stefanie LaHart, and I have a unique spelling. Oh, here's the funny thing, though. Another Stefanie LaHart has popped up in the Google search. The funny thing is, we look like we could be sisters, but she's black and I'm white. I swear to God, go Google it. It's so funny. We have like the same smile. She's actually in the coaching sphere, but I'm just like, I used to tell people I'm the only Stefanie LaHart. And then there was this other one. I'm like, okay, well, I'll share it with her because she's cute too. So you can find me easily. And of course, I'm on all socials just at BoomTown Marketing. So, you know, feel free to reach out to me and ask questions. You know, this stuff changes.
It does, totally. And you do a great job staying up to date, Stefanie. So
Thank
great
you so
stuff. I've been on different webinars she has, always great stuff, always tweaking things. So kudos. I'm glad to have you here. Thank you for taking time on your busy schedule to be here.
Of course, it's a beautiful Saturday. And let me tell you what I'm doing tonight. I'm going to the Hollywood Bowl to the Grease sing-along.
Ah, nice. That'll be fun.
Just me and 30,000 of my best friends singing Grease at the top of our lungs.
We'll hear you from here.
Oh, that's going to be all over Instagram, so check that out.
Good stuff.
Thank you again for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you later, all righty? Hey, thanks. All righty. She did a great job. That was awesome.